bitches. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Hot for Justice.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are coming at you live from my house. And
Is it live?
we've got, yeah, kind of. Well, it's live for us anyway. With a lot of dog furry friends. So if you hear like that, probably you're going to hear.
A little jingle jingle.
Because when we have the door closed, they all start barking.
Yeah.
They're mutinying against me, so...
So it was easier just to let them in.
It was.
And if you don't like it, well,
That
you can
sucks.
you can piss off.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like dogs, then I don't really like you, so... Just kidding.
Damn, shots fired.
I know lots of people who don't like dogs, but seriously, they're just good. So good for the soul.
I know. See, Jax is living his best life right now.
He is. He's just getting tummy rubs.
Yes.
As I'm talking.
I mean, honestly, like, if I could get belly rubs while I was,
Right.
it's really just the dream.
Except maybe back rubs instead of belly rubs.
Yeah, it's a little more awkward.
Yeah.
And yours is very sore right now, so probably
Yeah.
not the best.
I don't like people touching me.
I know, for your baby shower, for y'all that don't know, she was like, I made her like this like welcome sign for her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, can you make a second one that says like, don't fucking touch me?
Please. Because it hurts. Like on my baby shower, I was hurting all day. Like
Yeah,
all
you
morning
were
before
struggling.
that. So and then I feel bad because people ask and I'm like, okay. But it does hurt. So it was just easier to have a sign.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, I'm anti people touching me for the most part anyways.
It's uncomfortable when people touch. For me personally, I can go on a whole tangent about this now that I'm pregnant.
Go ahead.
I don't understand. I've never been a type of person who's been like, let me touch your belly. Because
Right, it's so weird.
It's weird because it's still your belly. Yes, there's a baby in there, but no, you more than likely aren't going to feel her move.
Right.
So you're just touching me. Like, can we not? I mean, it's different when it's like family. Like my mom or like, like we have some family, like really close family friends that are going to be like the grandmas, things like that. Like it is different, but like just in general.
Yeah, well,
No,
I mean, like,
please.
the thing that I think bugs me the most is, like, strangers. Because, like, you see it all the time. Like, it's not just something you see in, like, TV or, like, movies and stuff, but it's, like, fucking complete strangers. Like, oh, let me fucking touch you.
Yeah, I haven't had that happen to
Oh,
me.
thank
Like,
God.
probably because I look so unfriendly when I'm out because I'm constantly tired and like...
Got some solid RBF going on.
Yeah, don't touch me. Look. But I've heard of like other people talking about how that's happened to them and they're just like, no, don't touch.
Like,
I could never imagine just
like,
going up to someone and being like, oh, let me touch your belly.
well, the thing is, like, would you do it to someone that wasn't pregnant? No.
Right. No.
So, piss off.
Yeah.
Suck a toe.
Yeah, for real though. And yeah, people who go in without asking too. Like, please ask me. I'm gonna say no, but
Like, I at least appreciate the request.
Yeah. So
As opposed to just this, like, hand coming at me.
yeah. Well, and really though, like when people touch me, it's like Emerson knows, so she stops moving. And
that's
so I'm
funny.
like, you're really not gonna feel her move if that's your intention. Also, my dog's chasing her tail, so if you hear a thunk, it's probably her head hitting the wall because she's not the brightest bulb in the box. God bless her.
And I feel like with each head bump, it just gets slightly worse.
She's so cute, though.
It's worth it. It's fine.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
I wish y'all could see this.
I know. Maybe I'll record it and put it on our Instagram so y'all have reference. But anyways, it's your turn.
While you're recording your dog, I will start with my case for the week.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give a quick shout out to Jackson. He sent me this.
Jackson, MVP.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, if you want to make my life easy, you can just like send me shit because I'm fucking lazy. Says the bitch that like takes shit right off of Wikipedia and right off of Reddit
Oh my gosh.
on an almost weekly basis.
Hey, no shame.
I mean, I got shit going on.
We have full-time jobs in addition to this. We don't get paid for this.
And we give credit where credit's due.
We do.
And also, if someone would like to start paying us to do this, that'd be great.
Yeah. Just
throwing
fun.
that out there.
Help, we're poor.
And Jessica is with child. So.
I'm double poor.
And we want our dogs and children to have the best life.
Yeah.
I mean, our husbands are cool too.
Yeah,
But
they're cool.
yeah,
They don't
they're
need much though.
No.
No.
So, yeah, anyway, so Jackson sent me this, and he's like, oh my god, this is fucking bananas. And then I was doing a deep dive into it, and I was like, yo, did you know X, Y, and Z? And he's like, no. And then it's fucking bananas.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
Okay, so, and this actually took place in the town that I live in.
Ooh.
In 1985.
Hit
So
me with it.
very fucking close to home.
Yeah.
Literally. And it has to do with another BART station, coincidentally. I know last week I referenced a BART station. This is the BART station I literally went to every single day when I was commuting into San Francisco. Mm-hmm. So, like, this is
it's
an extra layer of weird for me.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. It's familiar.
I was, like, reading this. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'll start kind of from the top. So, it's about this woman named Dorothy Kaler. Not Taylor, Kaler.
Kaler. Okay.
But she went by Dottie. Dottie.
Dottie, okay. I
Like,
said Dobby. Like, this is pre-Harry Potter, so what?
Yes. Where do you think she got the name? Okay. So Dottie. So, I'll probably go back and forth between Dorothy and Dottie.
Okay.
Just so
Fair.
you know. So she's married to this man named Jules Kaler. Harlow is fucking on one right now. So anyway, so she's married to this man named Jules Kaler.
Okay.
Also, that's a name.
Yeah.
Jule. Jule.
A man named Jewel.
A man named Jule.
I've never heard that either.
No, usually it's like Jewel, like the singer.
Yeah.
But that's like
Heard that.
Jewel.
Very 2000s.
Very 2000s. I wonder how she's doing.
I know.
Did she, like, is she around?
Who knows?
I don't
Maybe
know.
I'll Google.
Do some Googling while I talk. So he was an entomologist and an aerial photography specialist. At the time this was all going down.
Okay.
He often worked out of town for work-related reasons. So Dottie was left home alone in their residence in Concord.
Okay.
Pretty much all the time. She was also, I should say, very agoraphobic. Like, she did not want to, like, leave the house. So, like, she literally was in the fucking house all the time.
Okay.
Like, she just was petrified of the general public.
That sucks.
And so another, like, kind of crazy thing about them is that, so they met, hold on, so sorry. So they met in their early 70s, and at UC Berkeley. I believe he was attending school there at the time. Mm-hmm. And she ran into him, and he actually gave her a fake name. He said that his name was Jim Rupp, and this was to cover up the fact that he was already married and had a kid. I think his daughter was like 5 at the time.
Shady.
Yes. So Dottie stayed with him even though he lied to her up front with his name. So this is already red flag. Just saying.
Red flag central.
Yes. Dottie stayed with Jewel until he divorced his wife and then married her.
Okay.
So
not a great basis for a marriage.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
Just come out and say it now.
Mm-hmm. And then they moved to Concord.
Okay.
The relationship was tumultuous at best. So again, she was very agoraphobic, prevented her from going out in public, and basically kept her confined inside the 4 walls of her house. He worked for the United States Forest Service.
Okay.
And so that's why he had to, like, go on, like, week-long stints at work. And while he was on these, like, 2-week trips, he would cheat on her with other women.
Yeah.
Because he was, a piece of shit.
Could see that coming, though.
Yeah. Thanksgiving in 1981, there's actually a recorded incident of domestic violence after he hit Dottie in the face with a typing stand. So, like, something like a typewriter was on. Yeah.
That's pretty violent.
He, like, swears up and down that she had come at him first with a pair of scissors and threatened to kill him, and that he hit her in self-defense. Charges were never filed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She eventually joined a support group called Women in Transition, because she finally was, like, over his abuse.
Yeah.
And it helped her overcome her fears and gain some self-confidence and independence. Without him knowing, she made new friends, opened bank accounts like that were just hers, rented a P.O. box so she could get her own mail without him having to go through it. Mm-hmm. She had a friend keep basically like a safety deposit box like at their house that had a $5,000 cashier's check and documents containing accounts of, all of her information.
Yeah.
So that she could leave him. Like, she was getting ready to divorce him, basically.
Yeah.
And also, like, she had documentation in that safety deposit box of, like, him being, I was gonna say infidelitous, but that's not a fucking word.
No, it's not.
All of his infidelities.
Yeah. That's a word.
Yes, thank you. What was that one discrepancy?
Yeah, Jackson called us out on that one.
And Audrey.
And Audrey. And Audrey also to shout out for the bridge one.
So we were on the sidebar. When we were on our way here for your bridal shower, baby shower.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. Me and Audrey came together, and she was like, "Oh, is this the suspension bridge that you drove over, Jamie?" I was like,
"Oh, okay."
I was like, "As a matter of fact, bitch, it is." Love you, Audrey.
Yes, we do love you, Audrey. Shout out, #1 fan.
Yes. So oh, and then so yeah, basically just all these accounts of his infidelities and abuse.
Okay.
And so
she's documenting her everything.
Yeah, she's being a smart ass bitch. Like, honestly. Like, good on her.
Yeah.
So, back to my other note. So sorry. I lost everything. So, he, in 1985, he found that he was going to get a job transfer and he was going to be moving to Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
So, she had no interest in moving. She was like, this is the perfect opportunity, let's get divorced. And then we can have an arrangement, like, I'll just pay off your half of the house, and I can keep living here, and you can move on to Utah, do your thing.
Yeah.
Like,
just cut it.
Yeah, so they agreed that was what they were going to do.
Okay.
And so June 12th of 1985, she, this is where things kind of get, like, hairy, because this is all his accounts.
Uh-huh.
So he says that he dropped Dorothy off at the, there's conflicting things if it's either the Pleasant Hill or the Concord BART station.
Okay.
They're both very close to each other.
Right.
Like, on the line, it's like, if you're going toward San Francisco, it's like North Concord, Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek.
Okay.
If you're familiar with the area, this makes sense to you. If you're not, we'll maybe post the BART map.
Okay, yeah. Fair.
With this. Again, I know way too goddamn much about the BART system.
Yeah. Just
because it was my everyday for the last, 2 years since the change.
Commuting gets ya.
Yeah. So, he dropped her off. Again, some say Pleasant Hill, some say Concord. I've read conflicting things. But in this account, they're saying they dropped her off at Pleasant Hill so that she could take a train trip out to see a friend.
Okay.
He didn't know which friend she was seeing, but also at this point, their relationship was already very strained. They were in the process of getting a divorce.
So it's like none of his business anyway.
He kind of didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh yeah, I should go see a friend. So the next day, he left work early and took BART and then got off at Concord. Mm-hmm. He arrived at the parking lot around 1 p.m. He found her Volkswagen Bug parked in the spot next to his car.
Okay. And
he was like, that's definitely Dottie's car. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
In the car, he saw her purse containing all of her, like, ID cards, personal effects, like her wallet, all that was in there. And her purse was just sitting on the front seat.
Red flag.
Yeah. And he was like, what the shit? So over the next few days, he left multiple notes on the windshield asking her to get in contact with him. And then 5 days later, he finally reported her missing to the cops.
Okay.
But, again, this is very sus.
I mean, it usually is when you're going through a contentious divorce and,
And you're already, a sketchy motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, he claims that he doesn't know where she was going on her trip or the name or contact information of the friend that she was allegedly going to visit. Again, that one's not as big to me because she didn't owe him shit to tell him. She was just like, I'm going to go see a friend, and he was like, okay, yeah, it's on my way to work, I'll drop you off.
Yeah, which is nice.
Right. I don't know if, even Zach would ask me that many questions. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to a friend's house.
Yeah. No, Wes generally is like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
When I'll be like, okay, I'm going to be back whenever.
Yeah.
I'm doing so-and-so.
But, also, I feel like we would probably say, oh, we're going to Audrey's, or we're going to go do this, or...
Pretty specific.
Right.
I am, generally.
But but we're also not in the process of getting a divorce. So.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're both happily married.
Yes.
So apparently she had told him that she wasn't going to return until he had already completed moving to Utah by June 24th. So basically she's like, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
So she packed a suitcase.
She was like, I'm deucing it.
Yeah, she's like, you can pack your shit up, and then by the time you're gone, I'll come back.
Okay.
Because I think she's probably just sick of seeing his face.
Easier, yeah. I would be too.
Right.
If I was getting divorced.
Mm-hmm. In the notes that he left on the windshield of her car, he expressed anger that she had just disappeared without signing the refinancing paperwork for the house, as he needed the money to make a down payment on his new home in Salt Lake. So if she wasn't planning to return until after he moved, why would he not get her to sign the paperwork first.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
So, and then also, even though she wasn't allegedly going to return until after the 24th, he proceeded to repaint the inside of the house, put it up for rent, took most of her stuff with her to Utah, and he says that he was forced to put the house up for rent because she didn't sign the paperwork, but it turned out that he had signed the rental contract on June 7th.
When did she go missing?
The 12th.
Okay. So, okay.
There's a 5-day difference.
That's really weird.
Yeah, so it's like, why are you planning on getting a tenant 5 days before your wife?
Yeah. Okay. Red flag central.
So when he went to work on June 12th and 13th, he left early on both days from work because he said he wasn't feeling well. He never returned to work before he moved and took the next week and a half off because he said he needed time to pack his shit.
Okay.
The Concord BART station parking lot was known for being packed on a typical workday, which I can fucking attest to.
Yeah.
Like, literally, so to get to work at 9:30 in San Francisco, I'd have to get to Concord BART at 7:30.
Damn.
To, like, get there on time, and because I had to, like, take the BART and then the bus to work. There would be times I would get there at 7:30 and there was no parking.
Oh my gosh.
Like, so I would have to drive into work, or a couple occasions I actually drove back home because I lived like 2 miles away from the station.
Yeah.
Drive home and then like Uber or Lyft to BART.
How annoying is that?
So annoying.
Wow.
So like that station gets so fucking busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, the parking lot was packed. So it's weird that, like, what are the odds that if she did move her car, that she would be able to find a parking spot right next to him?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's almost like they pulled up at the same time.
Right. So her friends and family are very upset about the fact that her purse was just like left in the car.
Yeah.
Especially because she was agoraphobic. She made sure that all of her most important personal effects were inside her purse whenever she went out in public. So she would never left it in her car.
Okay.
Like, she had, like, that was like her safety blanket. Like, she had the shit on her all times. And then after.
Also, she was agoraphobic. It's probably pretty not likely that she would go to a friend's house in the first place, right?
Exactly. And that's actually something I was going to get to.
Yeah.
Is if she was agoraphobic, one, why is she taking public transit?
Yeah, no. That would make your anxiety way worse.
Yeah.
It makes my anxiety bad, and I'm not
Same.
agoraphobic.
I know. Like, there's been times, so, like, I don't know if this is, like, weirdly TMI, but, like, I already take, like, anxiety medicine every day. Like, I've been prescribed, like, basically, like, not Xanax, but, like, something, like, milder.
Yeah.
For, like, situations if I get, like, public anxiety.
Yeah. It's a thing. I don't think it's TMI at all.
Yeah. It's okay to take your meds, kids.
Yeah. It's okay to admit that you have anxiety, too.
Yes.
Most of us do.
Yes. And so after she disappeared, nothing ever happened to her bank accounts. Like, nothing ever went missing. And the cashier's check was left behind also in her friend's safety deposit box.
Okay. So she's not just visiting a friend, but she's probably not alive anymore.
Exactly. So, this show, or this whole thing was also on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. And that first aired in November of 1987, so like 2.5 years or so after
she went missing.
Yeah. A viewer tip directed investigators to a woman in Colorado who got engaged to Jules 6 months after Dottie went missing. When Jules' fiance visited him at Christmas in 1985, he told her about his marriage to Dottie and her disappearance. So she became a little bit upset by this, that she broke off the engagement and never saw Jules again.
Dang.
Jules never mentioned the secret engagement whenever he was questioned by the police. He acted like it never happened.
Okay.
January of 1988, Concord PD received an anonymous handwritten letter postmarked from Gary, Indiana. It had claimed that Jewel had murdered Dottie by striking her with a tire iron in their garage and buried her body under a birch tree in a remote area. It even contained a hand-drawn map to the alleged burial location. Years later, DNA testing was performed on saliva from the envelope flap and stamp and found that it had male characteristics. A document examiner thought that the handwriting on the letter shared similarities with Jewel's handwriting, but neither the DNA or handwriting ever matched anybody, including Jewel.
Yeah, weird.
In 1997, the Kaler's former next-door neighbor in Concord found a rusted meat cleaver with duct tape on the handle underneath some ivy on a fence next to his property. He recalled a conversation from around the time of the disappearance where Jewel advised him not to cut the ivy back because it would cause the fence to collapse. So, like, the ivy was, like, holding the fence up.
Okay.
The neighbor also remembered Jewel pouring a concrete patio in his backyard shortly after the disappearance.
Okay.
In 2005, police performed a search of the Kaler's former residence but found no evidence of foul play. Ground-penetrating radar detected some anomalies underneath the concrete patio, but nobody ever dug it up.
Ugh.
I know.
It's so obvious.
He's always denied any involvement, and says that she took off voluntarily to start a new life somewhere. No evidence has said anything otherwise.
On.
So, after this motherfucker moves to Utah,
Right.
so that's kind of the end of the like original shit, right?
Okay.
In like 2003 or 2004, this motherfucker runs for state office for like the House of
Of
Representatives.
course he does.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff in Utah. There was several articles written about it. He's like, oh, like this man was like kind of like questioned in his wife's disappearance, so he never got elected. But
Well, that's good.
right.
Glad to hear that, at least.
But yeah, he's still alive, kicking. He lives in Utah. I don't know if this is weird. I found his Facebook page.
Oh my god, no way.
It's very private. It was kind of upsetting. Like, I wanted to be really nosy, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah. But he's remarried now and lives in Utah.
So they just is her case open?
Mm-hmm. It's
She's
just
missing?
she's just a missing person. She's on the Doe Network. She's on some other like missing persons websites.
Okay, like come on now. A man like that is going to take the easy way out. I guarantee you, like, dig up the concrete.
Yeah.
Put us all out of. Who owns that house? If you listen, dig up your concrete.
I would love to know exactly like where they live because I want to, or like what the house is.
Right. Like if I knew, if I moved into a house, and the woman mysteriously disappeared, and there were anomalies, which you would know because you'd have people come with the ground penetrating rate, so you would know they're in your house.
I would be like, yeah, dig my shit up.
Dig it up. I don't want that bad juju in my house.
No, thank you.
Or in my backyard.
Well, it's like when people like build property over like those like Indian burial grounds and like shit like that. Like no, thank you.
No. Such bad juju.
Yeah.
No. It's a big no.
So if you know anything about Dottie Kaler, or if you are Dottie Kaler,
Right.
if you're still alive out there and you ran away, just let somebody know.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't think that happened.
yeah, especially if she's severely agoraphobic, the likelihood that she's on the run is
Yeah.
really slim.
Oh, and then another like weird detail is that like when he like found her car and like saw her purse on the driver's side seat, he like went into the car and like moved the purse like underneath the like passenger seat so like no one would like steal it or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, so now you're tampering with evidence.
Yeah, that's just okay. Well then.
So yeah, that's my sketchy story.
Well, I hope he gets his karma.
I hope
He
so
will
too.
one day, but I mean, it's always the husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm coming at you with another solved case. Sorry, guys.
Don't be sorry.
It's intriguing though, and yeah. So, this takes place in the 90s in Lake Tahoe.
Okay.
So, a few months before July 1987, 27-year-old Bryn Rainey, she moved to Lake Tahoe from Ohio. She had visited Tahoe with her brother and sister-in-law. For their wedding. And it's beautiful. If you go, Lake Tahoe.
Oh, I love Tahoe.
Like if it wasn't so expensive, I'd live there.
Yeah. I mean, like shit. Like even a weekend there's like not cheap.
No, we were gonna go, and we ended up realizing we would spend like $700
For 2
a
days.
weekend, and we were like, no.
Well, I mean, like shit. Like even like my bachelorette party was like not cheap to like plan up there, and we were there for
I'm
like 2 days.
Yeah, me and Audrey. Audrey is always usually involved in our planning.
Yeah.
Shout out again, Audrey. But yeah, it's expensive. It's so fun to go up there, but
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
yeah.
But you pay for.
Yeah. So, anyways, she loved the area, decided to move there. She initially found a job as a motel maid, but she quit when she got a job as a Keno girl in the Sahara Tahoe Casino, which I'm not sure which casino that is now.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
I don't think they have that one there, but
It's probably just been like renamed.
I'm sure it has, because they do that a lot.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have never been, the casinos are only on the Nevada side of state line Lake Tahoe, because California, you can't have casinos unless they're on an Indian reservation.
Yes.
So,
I like how you circled right back to the Indian thing.
It's a talent.
Yes, segues.
So her friend said that she would normally take the bus or hitchhike to work, 90s such bad times for...
Jesus Christ. I can't.
So
never hitchhike.
No, for real. Bryn was running early for her 2 a.m. shift, so she decided to stop at the Bitter Creek Saloon. It was nearby the Sahara Casino.
I'm going to look up what the Sahara was.
Yeah, please do. The bartender remembers seeing her. She was regular. He didn't notice her leave with anybody or speak with anybody, but she never showed up for her 2 a.m. shift at the casino. And for the next month, she was just gone. Like, nobody knew where she was. Nothing had been touched in her apartment. The police were like, we have no idea where she is.
It is now the Hard Rock.
Oh, okay.
So we've been there.
We have been there.
Together.
We went on we actually started our pub crawl for Jamie's bachelorette party there.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun times.
God, that was a fun night.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, until you threw up everywhere.
Yeah. Oops.
Well, were you there when we lost Alina?
Yes. But I stayed. I didn't go with you to look for her. I stayed and I was drinking and I was dancing.
Well, maybe if you had stopped drinking, you wouldn't have ended up in the toilet all night.
My bad. I regretted it the next day. If that makes you feel better.
I know. I get this text from Jess and Audrey. They're like, we took turns alternating throwing up in the toilet all night.
Our plan was that you guys left to find Alina, and then you left to go back to your cabin. And Audrey and I were staying separate from you guys because we decided to come kind of later on.
It was last minute. Yeah.
So our intention was to meet them at the cabin. And then it was just, there was no way we were going to be able to Uber to you without throwing up everywhere.
No. I don't blame you.
So, yes. It was a fun night, though.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Whew. Anyways, so yes, we have been to the Hard Rock. It's pretty fun down there. If you guys really go to Tahoe, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So August 20th, about a month after she went missing, a horseback rider at the State Line stables noticed what looked like a shallow grave. So they called the police. They found Bryn's decomposed body.
Oh, no.
Her purse was nearby her. Based on forensic evidence, the pathologist said she had likely been sexually assaulted and then strangled to death.
God.
Yes. So, then, another girl, 2 years later, 16-year-old Carol Anderson went missing from her home in State Line, Nevada. So it's
on the other side of the border.
Yes. She went to go enjoy her day at Reagan Beach with her friends. Her sister said her mom rarely let Carol go alone places because she had suffered from epilepsy.
Oh God, that's so sad.
But her mom decided to let her go that day. So this is the police. I don't think really connected these two cases, but they are connected.
Oh.
Yes. So, yeah, 16, goes missing. Later in the day, after she was at the beach, she hitched a ride with her friends to a house party near Heavenly Ski Resort. Her friends kind of were leaving the party, and she was like, no, I'm going to stay. And then the last time anyone...
Famous last words.
Yeah. The last time anyone saw her was 11:30 p.m. And then they don't know how she left. They don't know how she got home. Nobody saw her. But she wasn't missing for that long. She wasn't missing long like Bryn was.
Right.
The next morning, there was a report of a body on Sundown Trail. There was no attempt made to conceal the body like it had been done with Bryn's. Probably because it was already dark outside.
Yes,
I'm thinking.
Here.
Yeah. She had ligature marks on her wrist, and like Bryn, she had been strangled to death. But both cases went cold. So this is... Bryn went missing in 97, and then Carol went missing in 99.
That's
Goes cold.
Pretty big gap.
Yes. So, then investigators found blood that they thought was a suspect on Bryn's shirt, and DNA from her body. But, it's expensive to do DNA in the 90s.
Oh, totally.
It's not necessarily the first thing they're going to go for. They didn't tie the two cases together until 2017 when they tested the DNA and realized that they matched each other from both cases because there was DNA on Carol too.
And they matched the same person.
They matched the same person.
That's
so then
crazy.
They're thinking, wow, these cases are connected. So, I mean, actually, there was a lot of young women who were murdered or missing in Tahoe around the time, so it makes sense that they wouldn't have immediately connected.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, to be fair, like Reno Tahoe area isn't like, I mean, like South Lake Tahoe is like really nice and like bougie.
Yeah.
But like the closer you get to like Reno State Line area, it's
Yeah, I
a
mean,
little.
and people come and people go. It's kind of
Yeah.
like Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean,
mini
it's
Vegas.
smaller, but not as.
Yeah, and casinos like sometimes the people are seedy,
Right.
weird.
Yeah. So
a lot of drinking, drugs.
Yep. So it's not irregular that would happen.
Yeah, and probably around then there was like a lot of like weird like runaways and stuff like that too. I would imagine of probably like late teen, early 20s girls that are like, oh, I'm just gonna go start a new life in fucking Nevada or like whatever.
Yeah. So exactly. In February of this year, we're coming back at you with some forensic genealogy.
Oh.
So the El Dorado County identified a suspect through submitting the DNA that they had for the cases to those various databases. They identified Joseph Holt, born in 1947. He was from the Bay Area, attended UC Berkeley. The police said he was never on the radar as somebody who would have committed these crimes. He wasn't even a suspect. He worked in real estate in the Tahoe area, and he lived less than 2 miles from where Bryn and Carol's bodies had been found. He, I guess, had gone back and forth between Tahoe and the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they submitted the DNA cases or the DNA from these 2 cases. It led to Joseph Holt's biological son. The son agreed to assist in the investigation, gave his DNA, and his own DNA and his dad's DNA from an old toothbrush that he happened to have. So he cooperated. The samples matched the 2 crime scenes. The investigators served a search warrant for Holt's remaining personal effects because he was dead at this time. So
God, that's annoying.
Yep. Yeah. So they served the search warrant. They found a 1975 news article about a unsolved Los Gatos shooting, which they believe he was involved in, because he was known to frequent the Los Gatos area. Mm-hmm. The victim survived, though. He didn't die. If you compare the sketch the victim gave, to the sketch artist of Joseph Holt and the shooter, they're identical. You can go.
Shit.
We'll post it because when I looked at it, I was thinking, wow. But yeah, Joseph Holt died 5 years ago from a heart attack. So, but at least the families of the victims know who did it, and the police are actually still investigating him because they believe he was involved in other cases. Which,
I bet he was.
I'm sure he was, and especially if he's going around strangling girls. I highly doubt he's gonna murder one and then wait 2 years to murder another.
No, and that's kind of what I was kind of getting at earlier when I was like, oh, it's kind of a big gap.
Yeah.
There's definitely probably ones in between,
That's
and probably before and probably after.
And who knows, in between the Bay Area and Tahoe, it's a pretty big stretch. So
yeah, it's a good 3-hour drive.
Yeah. And he's also going around shooting people random.
Right. Yeah, and that one's weird because the MO is completely different. It was a dude.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But
either way,
yeah.
I
don't think there's a lot of info about the victim because they survived.
Right. Well, I think about that is going from strangling somebody that's so personal.
It is very personal. It's shooting is more impersonal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you read Mindhunter or any of those books by, I cannot remember his name.
I think,
John Douglas.
Yeah.
He goes into things like that, and normally, especially serial killers use the same MO.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. It's not just convenience for them. It's what makes them, I guess, want to kill or get off on killing people. So it is unusual that he would go from strangling a girl and sexually assaulting them, because that's very specific to shooting somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe he was trying to kidnap somebody, and I don't know.
Maybe something just went wrong.
Yeah, so you never know, but I'm sure there's more crimes he was involved in, and at least now they have his DNA, so
they can start testing things against it now.
Yeah,
but that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I'm just so interested in the forensic genealogy cases because it's such a new thing, and
it's really cool.
It is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering how it's going to evolve, considering the legalities of it that could be potentially. I noticed an article. One of the websites that the police use is called GEDmatch.
I've heard of that, yeah.
So you can like submit your DNA on there, and now you have to opt in to make your DNA available to law enforcement. Whereas before it was just automatically, you upload it, it's available.
Oh.
Police can, do
Interesting.
their thing. But now you have to, if you upload it, you have to opt into it. So if that's something you're interested in, do that, because I would want to know. I think we've talked about this before. If I was related to somebody who killed somebody, I would want to know.
Yeah, like I don't care if it's my uncle or my mom or my dad or whatever.
Right,
It's
you
like,
want to know, and that's like I give this guy kudos, the son, because
that's so hard.
It cannot be easy to tarnish the memory of your dad by thinking he could be capable of killing.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of the one that you did last week, where you were, that guy's wife was like, "Hey, look, I think that he's involved."
But, sometimes, as well as you think you know people, you don't. Like, and it doesn't mean that they don't love you or you don't love them, and but I would want to know.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
So, yes, if you're one of those people, go upload your DNA.
Yeah, I want to do one of those like 23andMe or whatever.
Me too.
But I also have a really hard time like justifying $100 for it.
I know. Same. I asked for it for my birthday, but then I ended up asking for something else.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to give me a Christmas present or a birthday present,
yeah, you can send those to us. Or I think there's some at Target now. Give us some Target gift cards.
I'm always fine with Target gift cards. So, but
they were actually on sale at Target like semi recently, like for like $60, and I was like,
oh, that's not as bad. They do have pretty regular sales. I think I got my mom one because she really wanted to do it from Ancestry, so I got her one on sale. It was like $50.
Yeah, my dad and Zach actually both did one because Zach's dad's adopted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so Zach's like, I don't know what the fuck I am.
Yeah.
At least, well, on like his dad's side, he knew his mom was like Native American and Irish, but like he found out like he was like Greek and like all this other shit.
Cool.
It's really
so
wild.
Cool.
Yeah.
My cousins, I have a lot of family who've done them, so I have a pretty like solid idea of what mine would come back as. Yeah. But it's just so
it's still fun.
I want to do it for myself.
Me too. And like my dad, like I said, he did his, and like turns out like my dad's like 1% Chinese.
Ah, no way.
Yeah. So I am 1/2 of 1% Chinese.
1/2 of 1%. Did we math that right?
Sure.
Just kidding.
I'm sure that's how it works.
Oh, jeez. But yeah, if you, and that brings me to a good point. If you have any interesting stories from like family secrets coming out, or you found out you're related to a serial killer from your DNA stuff, please let us know.
Yeah,
send us a story, whatever. We'll read it, or if you want, or we don't have to read it on air if you don't want. But we want to know.
Yeah, because we are whores for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. I completely know people who have done those and have found out some like family secrets. Not like nobody's a killer or anything, but like
just, like some crazy shit.
Yeah, that you wouldn't know.
Well, like so one of my old bosses, I was having dinner with her and her boyfriend a couple months ago. I think I might have told you about this. It was right before we started the podcast, and you and I were texting, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, like if I'm being rude, like I'm texting my podcast co-host. It was when we were trying to like suss out the first day we were going to record."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, it's a podcast about," and mind you,
yeah, you did.
She was an administrator at a Christian school, and so I was like,
murder.
Yeah. And
Cuss and murder.
Literally. And then she was like, "Oh, did I ever tell you that like one of my friends in college, dad, was acquitted for murdering somebody?" And I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yes. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
We want to hear yours.
So I actually do want to do some digging into that and get a story from her if I can.
You should.
Because I did like a very brief Google like while we were at the dinner table, and it's wild.
Yeah, do it.
Because it's technically still unsolved because the guy was acquitted.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Fucking bananas.
You should do it.
Yeah. So anyways, on that note, do you have anything fun you want to share about?
Reading, watching, listening to anything good?
Like I said, Exhibit A is the most
recent
thing. Oh, so spoiler alert: we are going to be doing a screen recap probably within the next few weeks on Paradise Lost and The Devil's Knot.
I don't know if we've mentioned that before.
I don't think we have.
Guys, I'm having a hard time watching it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's interesting.
It's very interesting. I watched the first 2 parts of it. It's goddamn crazy.
Yeah.
And I also watched a regular movie that's based on it. It has Reese Witherspoon in it. It's called The Devil's Knot.
Love her.
Yeah, that movie is really good. It's really well done.
Maybe I'll start with that.
You should.
Okay. I could get into
I think it's pretty like
Witherspoon.
accurate too.
Okay. If you want to watch Devil's Knot's on Netflix, and
Yes.
Paradise Lost is all on Hulu, but you have to have the HBO add-on
Yes. So if you have like HBO Now or whatever the shit it's called,
or HBO Go. There's 2.
yeah, if you're subscribed to HBO in any capacity, you can probably watch it. There's 3 parts. Like I said, I've watched the first 2. I'm gonna watch the third one at some point this week. But
yeah, I can't make it through the first one, so I'm just gonna skip on to the second one.
yeah, I mean, I guess trigger warning or whatever. There's a lot of crime scene footage,
and it's very graphic.
And it's about kids.
Yeah,
so
it's. I started watching the first one, and I texted her and I said, "Is this actual?"
And I was like, yeah.
Footage, because you see, it's very graphic.
And actually, the winner of our giveaway, Jalen, got the book The
about
Devil's
it.
Knot. Yeah. So very interesting. I haven't read the book.
I haven't either.
But I mean, I might check it out.
Yeah.
After all this, but yeah, very interesting shit.
So.
Yeah. So.
I'm not really. I actually am watching Mindhunter. I've watched it already, on Netflix, and that's a really good show. It's based off of the book Mindhunter by John Douglas, who kind of started the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit.
Oh, so cool.
Kind of like Criminal Minds, but in real life. And yeah, so I read the book, and then the Netflix show came out 2 years ago, and I was stoked. So I watched it 2 years ago, and I'm rewatching it now because they're coming out with the second season.
Ooh.
So
I have to give that a go. I think it's been on my watch list. I just haven't gotten around to it.
It is so good. I was pretty surprised, and they try to follow the books pretty accurately.
Okay.
So a lot of the cases that John Douglas mentions in the book are cases that they kind of redo in the show.
Yeah, because I think I was listening to something. Maybe it was True Crime Garage, and they talked to the guy that played, I think, Ed Kemper.
He did such a good job.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible. If you listen to the real Ed Kemper give interviews or whatever, and then he looks like him, he talks like, he did a really good job.
They interviewed him and did a whole piece on it. It's actually a good episode. You should listen to it.
Okay.
I know you don't love them.
Yeah, but I'll give it a whirl. It's been a while anyway, so.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's it from us.
I guess give those a watch.
Yeah, we're gonna go eat some lunch and then keep recording. So
hell yeah,
because we're recording extras for you in case I go into labor early.
Which knock on wood, that doesn't happen. I don't want to will that into being. But
a little early would be fine. Anytime starting in August,
you're just so fucking over it.
She's as of August 1st, she'll be technically full term.
Because that's 37 weeks. Yeah.
She can come out, and then we're good.
So yeah, 4 more weeks. You got this.
I say that, and then my husband goes, "Yep, 12 weeks to go," and I'm like, "Don't wish that on me." But anyways, we're recording some extras for you guys, so there's no lapse in podcasting
again.
Yes, sorry.
Whoops.
I did.
Yeah.
Anyways,
on that note, we will catch you next week.
Bye.
All right, bye.